All right, so I finally got a good start, enough to release this idea, this universal index, basic concept of life. There you go, and you can just, if you go to my website, see the home, you go to education, and you click on universal index right there, right? And it'll take you to it. Here we go, collection of common basic life concepts that children are made to learn. They also relate to raw fundamental archetypes, elements, the fundamental part of life, mind, society. So if we look at this here, and you just click on any of these links, and it'll take, and if you click on the one at the bottom, here we go, Universal Index, it'll take you back, or you just click on Education, and that's how you navigate it. Now you see we have a list of, what do we got, like 14 or something. I have a few more, for example. Okay, I got things like astrology, electronics, exercise, geography, measurement. So things like that, minerals, music theory. So, but for now, this will do good enough. And if we click on them, here we have page on alchemy, and I wanted to learn how to make pictures with just basic vector graphics, which means like the line tool. See, this is all line tool, bubble tool, and then just words. Pretty simple stuff. Here you can see spiritual, heavenly, so fire and air, and then earthly, solid water, and of course mineral is earthly, animal is more on the heavenly spectrum, and then plant in the middle. And then we have active, passive. Of course, these are more passive, these reagents, because they're not alive. Animals are a lot more active than something like oil, for example. And of course, here are some things you can read if you want. By the way, this is made for computers. I haven't tested it on a phone. If it doesn't really work on a phone, just like tell me in the comments and I'll try to do what I can. Here we go. Alchemy is to study the body and spirit of God, as astrology is to study God's mind. It is the origin of modern science. It could be thought of as science when men were faithful, more in harmony with nature. To understand nature, the elements, the cycles of nature and its processes is alchemy. How are animals born and grown? How do plants grow and reproduce? How do minerals and crystals grow? How does the sky and sun affect things, etc.? Here we major parts. Chemically, the world is divided into four major parts, traditionally three. Minerals are the lowest, plants, animals, and spiritual phenomena, sky and above. These are all made up of four elements, earth, water, air, fire, etc. And then we've got an idea of extraction. The most fundamental way to extract and refine substances is through dry distillation or sublimation. In this process, you have two major chambers of flask, one there's fire/hot and one there's cooled. So you can read this if you want. And we've got basic things like alphabet. I have all the letters because, again, this is meant to be a universal index. Fundamentally, it's meant to be an index of life. So we have alphabet, we have numbers, so we have basic numbers. We have mathematics, so it goes through addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, decimals, negatives, negative numbers, zero, and algebra. Just simple geometry, basic geometry, colors. Talks about the basic colors. I actually have a little diagram explaining things. The idea of density. By density in this page is referring to the thickness of things. It'll give you an idea on how the earth element turns into water, water turns into air, and air turns into fire. To understand density, think of it as how tightly compressed something is, how heated and forged it is, or in the opposite way, how light, soft, spaced out it is. We have things like emotions, even, happiness, light, bursting, relaxing, full, warm, and great, usually brought on by good experiences and events. And also, maybe you noticed, if you were to, this isn't a lot of data, but this is the kind of data I thought you could probably feed into an AI to make it more human-like, so to speak, or to give it like human-like understandings of the world, which is why, what I've tried to do is try to put everything, put the basis of everything, right? Like emotions are a thing. Here are the basic emotions, shocked, sharp, bright, quick, chaotic. That's basically any descriptor. When something happens without you knowing it, beyond your ability to process. And you got to think like humans, children are like like a growing AI, or like a learning, developing, like AI, right? Because they're biological and all this stuff, but the point is they need to learn this kind of stuff. And maybe you didn't learn all this stuff. I don't know about you, but the alphabet, I didn't really understand. Like the end of the alphabet, I had trouble with for many years, and I had to like relearn it all out, right? So, things can be difficult. Things can be like that, right? So maybe you want to relearn them, or maybe you want to have a list of things, like what's a list of sounds. Maybe you just intellectually want to stimulate yourself and look through stuff, temperatures, different, just basic temperatures, times and dates. And again, one thing I should say is I'm not going to say this is all perfect, or that it's fact or anything. I've tried to make it as correct as possible. But of course, there might be errors, so do note that. Weather. So we got weather, spirituality and religion, and the elements. We got directions. That's another good one. So just really basic life concepts. Tastes. I got tastes and smells. Temperatures. I already went through that. And archetypes, of course, or basic description of archetypes. Like, here we go. One splits into two and takes on an opposing force, yin and yang, positive and negative, black and white, hot and cold, wet and dry, up and down, left and right, physical and spiritual, man and woman, young, old and young, good and bad, tall and short, fat and thin, sun and moon, water and fire, etc. Take some time to think over these archetypes and think of some yourself, right? So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I do plan to add more stuff and to maybe add more pictures and all that later on. It's just, this took a lot longer than I thought for just this little amount. But it's like, I don't know. I like the idea, because I was going to write a book, universal index book, right? And maybe one day I still will, I don't know. But I thought, why not just make it a website that anyone can view on their computer or phone, and they can do it for free. It's really easy, and if you want, you can just save the HTML files or copy and paste it if you want to have a copy. And I don't mind if you copy it, as long as you use it for proper, morally proper reasons and such. I don't really care. But I always thought, really to end it, I always thought, like, when I have kids and I teach them, what will I use as a basis of, like, what is the basis of life? Directions are the basis of life. Colors are the basis of life. Measurement, numbers, letters, grammar, geometry. This is all like music and sound and taste and touch. It's like these are all like the fundamental things that if you understand this stuff, you could teach a child, or like someone who has maybe like a mental deficiency or something, or has intellectual disabilities, or maybe an older person who never was never educated, or maybe you just want to brush up on your own, because most people aren't perfect with their knowledge of things, right? This is kind of the idea I had, like, what if we had a universal index of life, like the book of life, and maybe one day it'll be more like that. Of course, now it's just a little, it's something you could probably read quickly in an hour or whatever. But one day the idea is to make a book, or now the modern book is a website. It's like people say, oh, you don't read books. It's like, no, we're reading, we read websites, we read social media. It's like, that's the modern thing. But yeah, it's like a modern way that people could just download all this information into themselves and quickly learn, to speed up the process of learning and intellectual development and understanding of the entire world. So, yeah. I hope you like it, and of course have a good day, and goodbye. Check it out, links in the description. My website's in the description, but I'll put an extra link to get straight to it. So yeah. Anyway, goodbye.